Speaking of transportation, by the way, there is another stock in that industry that we're watching this morning, and that's General Motors. A couple of things going on with GM. First of all, the company is buying SoftBank's ownership stake in Cruise for $2.1 billion. This means GM will own 80% of Cruise, and SoftBank won't own any of it. So that's one news item that we're watching. But really what's probably affecting the stock more this morning is an analyst target change. That analyst is Morgan Stanley's Adam Jonas, who's quite influential in the industry, and he cut his price target to $50 from $55. Obviously, it's still above where the stock is right now, but he's raising some concerns about the supply chain for the company, continuing supply chain disruptions.
Hey, Adam Jonas, friend of the show. Always enjoy reading his notes. But look, the only thing I really care about with this GM Cruise division is that, again, this is another example of it being a full-on debacle. You've had executives leave this company, and now this. This latest deal essentially values Cruise, which is the autonomous vehicle outfit by GM, at $19 billion. More than a year ago, GM raised money from Microsoft and Walmart, valuing this company at $30 billion. I mean, that is a massive haircut. If you are the bankers at Walmart, you're working at Microsoft, if you worked on this deal, I mean, you wake up today and you just feel absolutely embarrassed. I mean, it's a terrible job of management by the folks at GM. But ultimately, I think goes a long way to show that this view that Cruise is going to be a public company anytime soon is pretty much off the table, at least for now.
Yeah, and it speaks to sort of changing expectations, not just for General Motors, but what is are the hopes in the EV industry more broadly going to be realized, and how soon? I think that is really a key question. Yes.
Yeah, I'll just say it too. Just look at how the management teams have managed this, Julie. You have GM taking a major $11 billion haircut on the valuation of Cruise. Then you have Ford a couple weeks ago with Jim Farley saying they're essentially splitting off their internals. The stock gets rewarded. I mean, it just shows you that I think the quality of management inside these two companies is striking. And that's why you have seen Ford stock just absolutely pummel GM over the past year.
I mean, at the same time, it's interesting here, Adam Jonas also lowering valuations for Ford's electric vehicle business and raising the value of the internal combustion engine business substantially, which I think is really interesting here. And again, speaks to the sort of timing of where we are in the cycle and whether, these companies are obviously trying to invest for the future. The question is, how far in the future is this new EV reality going to arrive? And I think that's key. Jonas also saying that obviously we've seen a lot of the cost inflation that these companies have experienced passed on to the consumer. He thinks that's still going to happen, but he says it'll be more equitable between the automaker and the consumer, a sharing of costs between automakers and consumers, which is kind of an interesting idea here. Maybe, hopefully, speaks to some mitigation. By the way, we're going to speak to the Volkswagen Group of America's CEO, Scott Keogh, in just a little bit, so we can talk to him about this sort of transition, if you will, from the combustion engine to EVs. Should be interesting.